episode of An American Entrepreneur, we're going to visit a couple of guys who operate the longest running survival school in Texas. In situations like natural disasters or accidents, understanding how to build a shelter, navigating, starting a fire, or even finding clean water could be life-saving. So join me as they share the story of their entrepreneurship journey and explain the ins and outs of operating a survival school. All right, guys, how'd y'all first get started in this survival school business here? Which one of you, did both of you start this business at the exact same time, or how did this all come about?
That's all Eric.
No, I was one of the original founders. So me and another gentleman, we worked at another survival school, and they went out of business. So we were like, hey, let's create our own survival school, but let's make it affordable for everybody. So me and another gentleman, he actually is a Garland SWAT guy now. His name's Matt. We started it, and then we asked another guy to come in named Clint, and then just so happens during all this startup phase that Matt got hired on the Garland SWAT team, so me and Clint kind of ended up with it, and then Clint brought a bunch of friends in and all this, and that's actually kind of a weird story here in the beginning. So these guys tried to take it from me, but I'm stubborn. And I was like, no, I'm not. I'm going to keep it. And now we're here.
Well, how did you first get interested in the survival school? So were you in the military, or how did this come about?
Yeah, I mean, I was in the military, but honestly, that had zero to do with the school. So actually, a buddy of mine found the school where I worked and brought it to me and goes, hey, look at this. Let's go to this thing. And I was like, no, I did all that. I don't want to do it anymore. I'd rather, sit and play my video games, because I just didn't want to do. I had enough of it already. And he kept bugging me, and then finally he told my dang kids, and then they started bugging me about it. So I was like, fine, we'll go check it out. So I called the guy that owned that school, and because it was like $400 a person, even for the kids.
Man, that's expensive.
Yeah, really expensive. And then, so I finally got him to give me a pretty good discount, and so we all went, and I forgot how much I missed it doing all that stuff. So I ended up becoming an instructor there for the little bit of time that they were open, and like I said, that's how all that other stuff got started.
Well, how'd you get in the picture, Ray?
I actually showed up as a student. I was looking, my son was probably kindergarten-ish, somewhere in that neighborhood, and was in Scouts and was just sort of disenchanted with it, because he was, they were focused more on the civic side of it, less on the outdoor side. And I grew up as a kid about 85% feral, and so I liked the outdoor piece of it. I wanted him to have that piece of it because there's so few avenues for kids to learn it. So I came in initially as a student. I was looking for a way to get my son out, to kind of put him in outdoors. I mean, living here in Dallas, it's a hot commodity to find a way to get outside. And so I came in as a student and just never left. And after kind of going through all the classes and becoming an instructor and kind of moving through things, and the school was kind of growing at a really good pace, and I'm much more meticulous. I'm a reformed accountant by trade. So all of the stuff that Eric sucks at is kind of my stronger suit. And so that's
usually how it goes.
It does.
Yeah.
So the stuff that really drove me crazy about the way he was running things, I would just volunteer and start doing. And I think at some point he finally felt guilty, and like, let's just go ahead and make it official, and just do a full LLC. And so we moved from a sole proprietorship then to over to LLC.
So how many years have you been in business now?
This is
13.
February is 13.
13
January is
years.
Yeah.
13 years.
Exactly where do you do your courses? We are in Farmersville, which is about an hour from Dallas.
Yep.
It's on that neighborhood. Yeah.
I'll let you
Kinda
tell about
northeast,
that, because you're the one that found this, hopefully
Sure.
home for a while here.
Yeah, hopefully knock on
But
wood
you
here.
teach the beginner type stuff here in Farmersville, and then advanced stuff in Oklahoma.
Yeah, so we've got a few locations. Like as we move through the classes, like we always try to make it so that the property gets more austere as you move through each class. So as the classes get harder, we want the property to get harder. So we do like our basic survival and our intermediate survival classes here in Farmersville at Sugar Hill Adventures, which is, I think, a nice little settling spot. It was a nice little oasis for us. It was close enough to civilization that people don't have to drive a really long way, but then at the same time, we still kind of feel like we're tucked away. But then when you move through up into the like the advanced and the knife only classes and stuff, we do those up in, we've got 2 instructors have got a piece of property that is just west of Durant. We're just west of Atoka in Oklahoma. So we do that class up there, and then Eric and I split a block that's up in the mountains in the kind of western side of the Ouachitas up in Oklahoma that we do like the knife only class and stuff up there. So each one as you move through, they've all got their own challenges. But outside of that, I mean, we do NAV classes and wild edibles.
We have NAV classes. The wild edibles. We do. We have a upcoming class that we're going to open this fall. Basically, kind of like an urban survival / bug out class.
Yeah. I'm teaching wilderness survival, wilderness first aid next weekend. So we do that stuff. I do it through the Red Cross.
Yeah, we
So
do.
you've got about 10 or 12 different kinds of classes.
Oh yeah.
And we do private classes too. We'll do a, you know, if someone wants a private class, like we just did a class for a lady that's going on a TV show.
Yeah.
We got another one in August for
The Air Force.
a department of the Air Force, a certain sector in the Air Force. And,
Well, you guys also have a full-time job. This is not what you do full-time. You have a
Correct.
full-time. What do you do full-time, both of you?
so I run a research and development lab for an HVAC manufacturer.
And I am more on the hospital operations side of healthcare.
So this is pretty much weekends only.
Oh yeah.
And
Well,
now you've got a bunch of instructors as well, though,
Yeah,
right? How many
yeah.
instructors do you have?
About 12.
yeah, it's probably 10 or 12, somewhere in the neighborhood.
About 12.
And it's, you show up for a class, it varies from week to week when people show up as to which ones are going to be here. We try to make everyone kind of interchangeable, but it's a pretty wide, eclectic
Yeah.
bunch too that make up that 10 or 12
Yeah, we
instructors.
have retired military from different branches all the
Yeah.
way to someone that used to be indoorsy,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
2 years ago. So
What's the demographic of a lot of your students? What do they generally, age group and all that?
But you know, it's a pretty wide mix, and it's a very diverse group. We always kind of joke that, you know, you can kind of, we get students from a mixed bag. You get the hikers who got lost. There's always that person in a class.
That went
You
through a
get
crisis.
exactly. You get the guy coming out that's, you know, wife decided, honey, if you fall out of the tree, you're going to die, so you're going to go out here and learn something. You get the preppers. We get my kid loves watching fill in the survival show blank.
Did those
and
survival shows really make your business more popular?
you know, maybe.
I think it definitely affects it. I think sometimes it probably gives people maybe a different opinion of what it actually is. We joke about one of them. I'll go ahead and say that. We always called Naked and Afraid Naked and Suffering, because you know, I think some of the survival shows, they intentionally want the people to look like they're struggling and having a hard time because it makes
You
better
got to
TV.
have drama, right?
It's
It
TV.
can't be
It's
smooth
TV.
sailing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I think one time we were talking, you said something, one of you guys said something to the fact that a lot of times it's the kids that love those TV shows.
Oh, absolutely.
And then they bring their parents and siblings out here, and then their friends come out.
Yep.
Is that
Yeah.
kind of a
Yeah,
way you're picking up a lot
get
of
It
this?
happens a lot.
You'll get a mix. You'll get the kid loves the show and drags the parent out, and then the kid comes out and figures out that this isn't really what they want to do.
Yeah.
But the parent loves it.
Then the parent likes it.
Because when I came out to do B-roll, I saw a lot of parents with their kids.
Yes.
Yeah. Or you get the opposite.
You get the opposite.
You get the parent that's dragging the kid out
For survival.
and,
Yes.
and the parent sucks and takes, you know, nosedives, and the kid knocks it out the park.
Yeah.
Who-
But a lot of times the parents are also trying to get the kid away from a screen and to get them out into nature and doing
Get off the
something other than
electronics.
sitting on the tablet or sitting on the computer and doing their thing. And we see, and honestly, that was part of what I was fishing for. Again, was just trying to push the kid outside. I think we get a fair amount of that
Yeah.
because we'll have parents that'll come out and like, all right, just so you know, I went ahead and told my kid that you guys don't allow cell phones out there so that they can't use their phone or their tablet.
Yeah.
Well,
we
good
don't.
idea.
We don't say that.
Well, it's
Yeah.
still a
And then
good
they
thing.
look at the kid sitting beside him with the other family and
You
like, well, why
lie.
does he have his and I can't?
Yeah.
But you know, it's. I think a lot of times parents are trying to unplug the kids.
Now, also people come out and do a full weekend. I mean, they come out here camping.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
They
all
don't
of our
just drive
classes.
over here and
No.
you show them how
Yeah.
to start a fire. It's like they come here like Friday evening and they leave Sunday evening. Is that what you're doing?
Typically, for our basic intermediate class, it runs from Friday evening to like midday on Sunday.
So you're really camping out here. There's
yeah,
no
yeah,
there's no
yeah.
trailers.
No.
There's no
No,
air
no
conditioning.
going home. No going
Yeah.
to the hotel for the weekend.
So you're roughing it for real.
Yeah, you're camping.
All right. So what do you guys do as far as your marketing, advertising tactics, if anything? I mean,
Honestly,
word of mouth.
word of mouth.
Mostly word of
Yeah.
mouth, yeah.
We don't advertise. If we spend anything on advertising, it's like a couple $100 a year to like run a Facebook ad.
Yeah, something like
Other
that.
than
Like,
that,
it's not a whole lot.
We ask our students. We do what's called a AAR, or an after action report, at the end of the class, and we go through and we ask the students, what they liked, what they disliked about the class, and then
Good feedback.
right.
Sure.
And we actually
we changed the class.
we
because of-
we will change the class, and the class is what it is today because we actually listen to our customers. And the only thing we ask in return is, hey, just share the class with your friends and tell them how much you liked it, and tell them about us. That's it. That's all the marketing we do.
All right. Do you actually have a pass-fail mechanism, or it's just you come out and just do the best you can?
We don't have a pass or fail for the first
First two.
two classes.
First two classes, okay, and the other ones are
The
really
third
more
and the
serious.
fourth class, yeah. We're extremely serious. Well, we're serious about everything, but
Right.
the third class, we're extremely serious.
Yeah.
We tend to, like Ray likes to say, we intend to joke around a lot in the first class for sure, because we feel like it disarms a lot of people. But that doesn't mean we don't really care. We really care about what we do, and we're serious, for the simple fact that we've had one gentleman that's taken the class almost as many times as Ray and I have done it, and he's still not passed because he's either cheated or he leaves or something.
Yeah.
And we just don't pass people. You have to actually meet the criteria to pass the class.
Yeah, there's no such thing as, no student left behind. People do get left behind.
Yeah.
Right.
And the first two classes, they really lay the foundation. Like, if you practice the stuff from 1 and 2, 3 is very doable. I think the third class, which is the advanced class, I think it's harder than the knife-only class, in which it goes, so the level 3, the advanced class, it goes from a Thursday through a Sunday, and then the knife-only class goes Wednesday through a Sunday. So
that's a
those
good
two
while.
classes grow each time.
Right.
And that level 4 class, it's legitimately a knife in the clothes on your back out in the mountains in Oklahoma for 5 days.
Yeah.
I think that class is easier than the third class,
I would
because the
agree.
third class, you get just enough gear to give you hope that it won't be hard. So I think with some people, it gives them kind of a false impression that, oh, okay, this isn't going to be that bad. And it's not that it's bad, but you have to kind of enjoy the growing pains that come along with it.
And I think that out of all the classes we do, I believe 3 is probably the most realistic one.
Yeah. Because the likelihood of you being lost in the woods with just your knife.
Yeah, very
Well,
unlikely.
if you're lost with just that,
made
you've really messed up a
You
lot.
made some major mistakes.
Yeah.
So I
for
guess
sure.
you guys are seasonal, or what?
We
are the months that you operate?
We run basically the school year.
Yeah.
The school year.
Same as the
Okay.
school year would
Yeah.
run.
And we do more like day classes and stuff like that during the summer. It's shorter stuff. It's honestly, it's so hard in Texas to keep people hydrated, at least
Oh, yeah, it's
keep
very-
adults hydrated
It's
enough
like
for them to be
93 right
safe.
now.
Yeah, it's hot.
In case y'all wonder why we're all sweating, but yeah.
Yeah, it's warm for sure.
Well, what are the challenges of a business like this that caught you guys by surprise? That
Ooh, caught by surprise.
Horrible
you
partners.
made changes and you've
Horrible
overcome
partners.
it.
I would say horrible partners. Honestly, I don't know if there's been challenges. Wow.
The seasonality of it is
Yeah.
kind of a challenge. And like part of the business is actually like forecasting what's going to happen. So like part of our business, like it seems to flex up and down with politics. It flexes up and down with the economy. Like it's very responsive to just unease. So when people are less comfortable with what
Yeah.
tomorrow looks like, it
They-
gets really busy.
They
And
okay.
and so like for me, of always wanting to know what tomorrow looks like, it makes
Yeah.
that piece of it a little harder to predict, because you're just like, it's
and I
a
think,
little more fluid.
And I think a good reason why we've been around so long or the long as we have, is we don't treat it like it's our main pay, right? We're not trying to pay bills. So and I think when you act like it's your main job, now you're starting to force people into coming to the class. You're starting to treat it different. You're starting to look everything as a paycheck instead of really focusing in on treating customers well and making sure everyone's having fun and worrying about that. Then oh crap, I need to make my light bill. I better figure out how to get some people here.
Turns into an assembly line 9 to 5, instead of a labor of love. Like I always try to tell people, this is a labor of love. Like we all genuinely like teaching, especially something that there's just fewer and fewer places to learn this stuff.
Yeah.
So we do it because we like it, not because the mortgage is due next month. And
What would you say the average survival school lasts? How long do they last on average, would you say? Maybe just a couple of years or 3 years, or do you even know?
I know.
Because 13 years is quite a while, I'll tell you.
I know we have seen a lot
come and go.
Come and go in Texas for sure. Yeah. And I think that they think it's just a money, like this money grab thing, and it's not. Sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad.
It's feast or famine for sure.
Yeah.
And you'll see a lot of people, they'll pop a school up, and then after their neighbor and their 2 cousins and their sister comes through for that first class, and they take the pictures and post it on Facebook, and then they have that next class, and then you're down to like that one guy you know from work and that one cousin that was sick that couldn't come the first time, and then no one else shows up again. Then it gets, you kind of see them fall to the wayside.
Because a lot of it, you got to be seen, you got to be known.
You do,
a lot of people, so many small businesses I see, when they start their business, they don't let people know, hey, I've got a business.
Other students that came from other schools and have made that distinction of, hey, when class was over,
they left.
Instructors disappeared. Like it's a job. It's a from 9 to 5, and maybe you had one stay out there just to keep an eye on somebody, but everyone just split. Like we don't. We're here. We're right here with everybody else around the campfire till, we get tired of talking or they go to bed.
Well,
pretty much.
I'll say when I was here shooting B-roll, and I saw you guys, showing people how to start a fire, build a trap. When you look at those on YouTube, it looks like, oh, okay, I got it. But when you come out here and try to do it yourself with your own hands, it's way harder. I saw all these people struggling, and it looks easy. So I would think that, don't think you can just look at a YouTube channel and a guy shows you how to build this or how to do that. He's done it 100 times. Right. And it looks easier. But yeah, when I was here, I was watching these people struggle, and they were kind of getting frustrated and trying again and again. But I love the way you guys get down in the dirt and you really coach them and show them what they're doing wrong. I think that's pretty cool. I noticed y'all seem like y'all really love it.
Sure.
Well, if there's like, say, 3 things that are just extremely important that you would tell someone, look, I highly recommend, if you don't learn anything else, learn these 3 things. What would they be? Or I don't know if you guys would have 3? A different 3.
You give 3, I'll give 3. If I was going to pick 3 things.
Honestly, I think kind of a main overarching theme, especially with the first class, we both volunteer with different like search and rescue groups and stuff. It's preparation. And we always try to make a big distinction in our classes of there's a difference in survival and bushcraft. So bushcraft is this kind of trendy hobby craft. It's a wonderful complementary skill set to have. But when I go into the woods and I get lost because I turned left and zigged when I should have zagged and turned right, if I'm reliant on like cracking rocks and twist, to make a sharp edge to have a knife, and twisting grass to make cordage, and I'm having to go out, do all these things, I've really screwed up a lot. So I think preparation and planning is a big one for me, and I think that's one thing that we kind of hammer through people. And then kind of the attitude and approach to it. Like a healthy dose of stubborn goes a long way for people, because if you don't have the mentality of I'm going to get through this piece, I'm going to grow through the experience, not just the class, but even the getting lost and all that fun stuff, you kind of miss out on that piece of it. And then honestly, my other one is flexibility. Like if you get lasered in on one priority and one problem right this minute, you might miss the other 3 things that are going to catch you. So that would be my 3.
Right. How about you, Eric?
Dang.
You said me to go first.
I was honestly the same exact thing. Like I think that.
Well, you can't run out your daylight.
That's a lazy ass answer.
No,
you can't run out your daylight. I know that.
Yeah.
I think that what Ray just said trumps all skill sets.
It's the crux.
It doesn't matter
everything.
if you can create a fire. It doesn't matter if you know how to do shelter, a bow drill, a hand drill, all this stuff. If you're going to sit on a log and give up, all those skills don't matter. And in our level 1, we go over, the end of the day, we go over more of the psychological aspect of survival. And a lot of people don't understand that. You got the fight or flight and all that stuff. We go over all that stuff, how it affects you emotionally and physiologically. And those are big things. And if you don't have those things, it doesn't matter what.
All those skills aren't going to save.
Doesn't
you.
matter. Nothing. No skill level, no skill set's going to save you.
It can be the most skilled person in the room, but if they don't have the mentality to go along with it,
So it's a mindset.
it's a mindset piece.
Well, as far as your classes, I guess you're on the internet. People log in, they select it, pay online. What software do you use for all that?
So everything's ran straight through our website.
Okay.
And it prompts people, like once you go through the registration piece, so you go into the calendar, you pick your sessions, and it grays it out if it's full or if we've already closed it or something. You just pick one, you go through, you fill out all your registration information. It prompts you for payment at the end through PayPal, and it's kind of all self-contained inside the website, which is just www.texassurvivalschool.com.
Okay, and I know you guys have a YouTube channel as well.
Yep.
And so I'll put that on here.
We got
and show it.
YouTube channel, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok.
Like they'll go out on our Facebook page, which has thousands of pictures from classes.
Literally like 15,000
Really?
pictures.
Yeah,
That's a
it's
lot.
huge. And they'll go out and they'll look at the YouTube videos, and we're never in any of them. Like it's rare if you see one of us. It's in the background somewhere. We got caught in a photo. We try to very much make everything that we're doing about the students, as opposed to, you know, look at me, look at this really cool thing I'm doing. So I'm posting because I want to be the next famous
Yeah,
YouTube.
we're not looking for a
whatever.
cameo. We're not looking to
Yeah.
go star on a TV show and get famous and get a picture next to somebody. That's not. what
You're
we're-
about to be famous when I post this video.
Exactly.
We're not looking for. I mean,
Right.
if it happens, it happens, right? But
Right.
we're not looking for that. We're looking to provide a great product to customers and have fun doing it.
Yeah.
That's what we're. I mean, that's what I want to do.
Yeah, I think it's a realistic expectation for what we try to do. I mean, like the school has grown very sort of organically over the last, at least the 11 or 12 years that I've been affiliated with the school. The classes were a lot smaller, and kind of as word got out and the classes got bigger and our cadre of instructors got bigger, then we were able to allow the classes to get bigger. And it's grown very organically, but I think it's because right out the gate, it was always the attitude of, this isn't, this is a labor of love. This isn't how I'm paying my bills. So there was never that expectation that right out the gate it was going to be this big, huge thing, and we're just going to blow up, and it's this big, massive business.
Yeah.
And
another
I think
thing
that's kept it fresh.
And another thing that's different about our school too is that we're a school and we're here to teach. We're not like. We don't have a storefront.
I'm not
right?
pimping gear.
We're not pimping gear out. We're not trying to sell merchandise everywhere. We don't. When we give you a gear list, you can go buy it at Walmart.
Yeah.
Like we don't care. You don't have to go to our web store and buy our stuff, or because we don't care. Because not everyone has the same stuff.
What would it cost to get the gear, maybe a cheap range versus maybe a really nice expensive range to get the gear to attend some of these classes?
Low end, what, 75, 80 bucks?
Yeah, maybe.
But honestly, a lot of stuff on the list, most people have laying around the house.
Okay.
Like there's a lot of stuff that, like, we intentionally try to not like force a big packing list because a lot of people have this stuff laying around.
So lately we did partner up with
Tactical Trunk.
Tactical Trunk,
Yeah.
which they actually have a beginner level kit all put together that they did for us, and they'll ship it to you or
Through your website, you
Yeah,
can click on it, but that's really the store.
Yeah, and then so they'll ship it to you, or they're so close to where like my job is
They just
that
drop
I
it
could
off
probably
there.
just swing by and pick it up for
And meet them here for the class.
and have it ready for them. I mean,
Because
that's-
they're all Dallas based.
Yeah.
And I think it's like 200 or something like that.
I don't know, maybe $150.
Somewhere in that neighborhood.
It's everything.
But I mean, it's
backpack,
everything.
everything.
Yeah. From a high-end perspective, so there is like a meme that floats around, and I think it really applies for the survival side. But it talks about that hiking or backpacking is the hobby where you spend a fortune to live like you're homeless. It absolutely applies to what we do out here, because you can absolutely spend an incredible fortune on stuff.
Yeah, we have gone and tested so much gear in the last 10 years that we're all pretty close to some stuff.
Yeah.
What we carry, but man, there is some pieces of crap.
Oh yeah,
That's even
some
real
garbage.
expensive
That's
too. huh?
expensive.
Oh, yeah,
like you're
absolutely.
like
Yeah.
you go like, oh, that looks awesome, and then you buy it,
You're like, that sucks.
and you're like, this thing's a piece of crap.
Yeah.
And what's funny is that we only tell our students, like, we don't like go on a YouTube channel and like promote everything, right? We actually tell our students, hey, don't buy this. It's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Right.
But I mean, I guess maybe we ought to do that at this
But
point.
I was gonna say, what kills my wallet at least. I would come out, and even a student will show up with something. Like, oh, damn, I really
Yeah.
like that. Oh, I want to go get one of those.
Yep.
And then you go get it, and then we all have it. And there's a lot of gear that one of us will come out here with instructors, and then you look, and then everybody has it.
What kind of watch are you wearing, and then what kind of watch are you wearing, Eric?
I have a Garmin Instinct 2.
I have the Garmin Instinct 3. I moved from the 1 to the 3 from the time you filmed B-roll.
Okay.
I changed because I kept waiting. It had a few more features that I was waiting on. As soon as it came out, I was like, all right, we're good.
If you could do anything differently, what would you do differently than?
Man.
Not ask
Or
me to stay
pretty
around.
much you've been around so long, you're doing what you're.
Not ask me to stay around.
I think there was a point in the 13 years where I probably could have just did this full time,
Yeah.
and now I can't. I mean, it would take. It would be me. Like I'd have to do a business loan and
Yeah.
do some things in order to do it full time. But I think there was a time where I could have done this full time, and I should have done it.
Why didn't you? What kept you from doing it?
I don't know.
Just maybe stepping out of your comfort zone, maybe?
Maybe so. There was a real portion in time where I probably could have done it
There was a window you had.
and took. It would have been maybe a little bit of pay cut, but it would have been worth it because I'm sure by now we'd probably be pretty huge.
Well, let me ask you, is that possibly a plan in the future, do you think?
I don't know. I think that it would depend on a lot of things. I mean, certain things would have to happen.
Well, if you were to give advice to someone that was going to start a business like this, besides don't think it's going to be your full-time job,
Yeah.
but what maybe a few pieces of advice you would give to someone other parts of the world that are thinking about doing something like this for a living?
Don't come to Texas. This is ours.
Don't come to Texas, all right.
I'm just kidding.
You see what I carry around every day. No,
Right.
And mine looks just like it, except mine's got
There you go.
I would say no matter how hard it gets, no matter who tells you that's stupid, just keep doing it.
Did people tell you that was stupid?
I would assume probably so at some point. I don't really remember.
Well, at least you weren't doing it full time. That's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
good thing, right?
I mean, I'm sure at some point someone probably did, but I mean, I'm too much of a stubborn person anyways to really care.
Right.
Well, I know, like me, I know when I go home, it's funny. Like, I'm from the Carolinas, and on the event that you go for the holidays and you run into people that you kind of grew up with, I know they're all just baffled by the fact that there's a market for this.
Yeah.
But I think there's a difference in people that grow up out in the country, live out in the country versus in the city, in the metropolitan. I was like, yeah, the city people. It's a different growing experience. So the different desire, and so I think it kind of surprises people.
I'll tell something going off of that. I mean, I don't know how long you want to make this, but I'll tell you something going off of that. Most of the dang city people do better than the country people.
They do.
Really?
Because all these country guys
Think
come
they've
out
already
here,
got
They
it.
think they know it
down.
all.
They think they know everything, and they come out here and they can't do shit.
Yeah.
At least the city people are like, oh, I listen to you and I do the things you're asking me and the stuff.
They don't come into it with the
Yeah.
preconceived notion of I know how to do all this
heck,
stuff.
and you want to talk about the women doing this? Women blow the dudes out of the water.
Typically,
like-
yeah.
Is
They're
it
better
because the
students.
men
of it.
kind of have an ego? You
Yeah.
can't show them anything?
I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
I think the women are more open to it, more receptive.
Yeah.
Well, I want you to elaborate real quick on something that I think is real important. Could you describe a little bit about bushcraft versus survival?
Sure.
And you do teach both, right?
We do.
But
And-
could you
and
kind of give us a good, clear distinction of them?
the line we draw is from a survival perspective. Like if you think about it, if I'm lost in the woods, my goal is to get back home. It's not to live out off the land for weeks, months, years on end. It's all right, I'm out there. I wasn't planning on being out there, but I'm out there now. My goal is to get back home. Like that's survival. All of the bushcraft skill set, and this is more that you think primitive living skill set. You know, it's all stuff that it complements that skill set really well from the survival perspective. But you know, survival goal one is get back home alive. Like that's what survival is. Bushcraft is more that kind of that hobby craft. It's a wonderful skill set. It's just I see them as very
worst case scenario, you could live out there for a couple weeks or a month.
And statistically speaking, you're found within 72 hours anyways.
Yeah.
So even the fact of, like Ray was saying, that's a great skill to complement survival. But unless you're going to go live out there and that's your plan, it's a total different skill set that you need to learn.
They work very symbiotically together.
Yeah.
Well, I know you guys teach eating, whatever that class is.
Oh, the wild edibles?
The wild edibles. And
honestly, we teach it because a lot of people want it.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where, honestly, if I know I'm just going to be out there for a couple of days, I'm better off not eating anything than grazing through and picking little bits and pieces, because it's harder to get calories from edibles. And that's really one of the big things that you need when you're out like that. You really need the caloric intake.
Yeah, and you're better off from a physiological aspect is you're better off to put your body in a fasting stage than sit there and munch on things and
maybe eat something bad
and trick your body into your metabolism still speeding up and staying the same. You want to go into that
the ketosis.
Ketosis, right? And where your whole everything slows down and you hold on to your body fat and your muscle content longer. You don't want to just start picking leaves and eating stuff and like your body thinks it's taking in all these calories when it's really not. Yeah. That's a myth.
There's great like vitamins and minerals and all that stuff that you can get from it, and there are calories that you can get. That's not the bulk of what's out there, and you've got to be really kind of discerning with that. And some of it you spend more effort trying to get it and eat it than what you gain from it too.
What's the most common questions people will ask?
What knife do I need?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
how hard is it?
Tell me about food. What do I need for food? Like
that's the ones you get the most?
Those are probably the two that I get the most.
The ones I get the most are, hey, do we have to stay out there all weekend?
I almost never get that.
I get it consistently.
I almost never get that question.
Do we have to stay out there all weekend?
And how far do I have to walk?
And do I get a discount from whatever thing I'm with? That's normally what I get.
I get that one occasionally.
I guess you'll put together a specialty class too for like if a company wanted to have people come out and do bonding or whatever, those little courses and stuff.
Yeah, we've done.
Well, the one coming up for the Air Force.
Yeah, the Air Force one.
That's
a standalone class. We did one for a huge windmill company.
Yeah.
Because they worked in austere conditions, and we did like a little survival class for them.
We did that big day hiking group down in Austin.
Yep.
We've done them for like that women's group up here.
Yep.
So we get them.
Okay, so I guess whenever the first day of class starts, I guess you have a roll call. You got to know who paid, who didn't, who owes you money. Is that the first thing you do when y'all first show up here?
No, it's awesome. Like if they don't pay, we just don't tell them when to show up or where.
Oh, okay.
Like because we get a lot of people that register on the website, and we don't confirm their registration until they've paid. And if they're not on the list as paid, I just don't send them the communication for where and when to show up.
I guess some people just show up and pay cash, right?
No.
They don't never pay cash? You don't take cash?
We'll take cash.
We'll take cash,
but I mean, it's like most of the time, I don't reserve a spot for the person coming and saying, I'm going to pay cash.
All right,
because then what happens is they don't show, and they've eaten up a slot that someone else could have done, could have taken.
What's the average size of a class?
Oh, it really depends on the time of year. When it's super hot outside or it's super cold, it gets smaller.
It's say 30.
Yeah, probably somewhere around 30
Spring and fall is when it really picks up.
Yeah, spring more than fall.
Okay.
Fall, I think we're so, kids are back in school and people are trying to find the routine. Football and weekend hunting. And
Well, I appreciate y'all taking time out of your day and coming on the channel and sharing your information for anyone that might be interested in not only participating in your class, but also anyone that might be interested in starting a business like this. Hopefully we've inspired them, given them some direction and some good advice, guys. So I appreciate it a lot.
Absolutely.
All right. I think the biggest takeaway Ray and Eric shared when running this kind of business is at the end of the course, spend time with your students to go over what they liked and disliked so you can fine-tune your course to provide a much better experience. This way, they'll be more likely to recommend your course and even come back to take other courses. I hope you enjoyed this video and it inspired you. I'm Curtis Mulberg. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.